Ladies and gents, welcome to this fiery hunter build. If you want throwing knives and you want them non-stop, as well as a non-stop radiant buff, topped off with huge explosions, then this build is definitely for you and you want to watch that video. And in addition to just the build, this video also features my well-known cheat sheet, one slide showing the build and showing all these synergies this build has to offer. You will find said cheat sheet at the end of this video and down below in the descriptions. And I'd say now let's dive right into that build. Let's go! So this build is actually focusing heavy on the weighted throwing knife. Let's make that a little bit more clear. Let's make it shiny, because the throwing knife, if you have a precision kill with the throwing knife, it recharges the class ability, that is your dodge, and the throwing knife with this build will ignite scorched targets. So what do we pair throwing knife with in regards of abilities? We have our Gambler's Dodge, and you can see that with that wonderful rounded arrow. Gambler's Dodge, when you're close to enemies, recharges your melee. So this is the first little synergy right here. I said this throwing knife build also ignites scorched targets. That's where we use our solar grenade for, to scorch targets and then ignite them with the knife. That is actually pretty helpful this season for overload champions, because nobody likes SMG and assault rifle overload mods. That's why I like to use the grenade, burn them a little bit, ignite them with the knife and explode the whole fucking room. So let's talk a little bit about the aspects of DirtyHotte's non-stop knives build. First one is on your mark. That not only gives you 3 fragment slots, which is beautiful because we like fragment slots. What it also does is precision kills increase weapon handling and reload speed, and that stacks to a maximum of 3. And a dodge, that is your class ability, gives you max stacks immediately. So this is another synergy going right into your Gambler's Dodge, because your Gambler's Dodge now gives you 3 stacks and it improves your weapon handling. And as I said before, precision kills recharge your class ability and you have more Gambler's Dodges. Yeah. And if you like a lot of fragment slots, and if you like big slots, please leave a like to help my channel grow. And helping my channel grow brings me actually to helping you grow with Destiny 2 builds, and with our second aspect, Knock 'em Down, which gives you 2 fragment slots. So we have a total of 5 fragment slots with this build, which is beautiful in its own already. What Knock 'em Down does is, number 1, your supers are enhanced right now, and I don't even want to talk about the other supers right now, because I say with that one, run Blade Barrage, because Blade Barrage now is one of the best PvE picks with that aspect. The second one is While Radiant. While Radiant, knife kills will fully recharge your melee. Knife kills. We are not talking about precision hit kills, we're just talking about regular knife kills. Okay, so that is the second synergy right here. Knock 'em down. When you're radiant, your knife kills recharge your knife, and that is the first part of the non-stop knives. The non-stop knives with Knock 'em Down. And let's head right into the fragments with that, because that brings us to our first fragment, Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks give radiant, make you radiant, and your whole fire team radiant. So this combination of Knock 'em Down, Ember of Torches, weighted throwing knife gives you endless radiant and endless knife circles. That is beautiful in its own. And now you might say, Dirty, I'm old, you are old, we are all filthy casuals. What happens when you actually miss one of your throwing knife? That's why we use Gambler's Dodge. So if we fuck up a little bit, that's our backup, okay? But it doesn't stop there, okay? We have like 1, 2, 3, 4, we have 5 synergy arrows already. But let's continue with the next fragment. That's basically a pair I like to run. That is Ember of Ashes, apply more Scorch to Scorch stacks, because why not? And Ember of Char, solar ignitions, spread Scorch, and it says it over there on the synergy arrow, more Scorch to ignite, leading to even more Scorch, which brings us back to igniting Scorch targets, and yada yada yada. You get the idea. It's all a lot of synergies going into that, and we are not even halfway through the build. Next aspect, fragment, sorry. Ember of Blistering. Solar ignition kills give grenade energy. So more nades to scorch some more. That goes directly into your solar nade for the big guys, which you will use to scorch targets, and then you will use the knife to ignite, and that ignition gives more scorch or grenade energy, which you then can use for grenades and scorch some more. That is a nice additional synergy circle right there, going into your grenade, leading to the weighted throwing knife. Now you might say, what's about the last aspect? Let's talk about the last aspect first. Why didn't that work when I pressed the button? Ember of Tempering. Solar weapon final blows give recovery stacks 3 times. That's actually also kind of a safety backup, because that gives you the recovery, so you don't need to run high recovery as a stat. So that's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 synergy arrows right there. And if you like synergies like that, please leave a like to help Mom's Basement grow. That is my YouTube channel actually. And now we're pretty much finished with the class setup, and we will continue with loadout, mods, stats and weapons. Let's continue with the right side of the cheat sheet. And that's the stats, and I make that pretty quick, okay? I want to run 100 mobility with that, because I want to have a low dodge cooldown. So as low as possible to have my gambler's dodge in case I need it. Then I want to have a discipline as high as possible for that grenade cooldown. You might say, why not your strength? Because that's much more important for the build. Because basically you could run like 0 strength with that build, because all the synergies will give you your melee back at any time you want it, and in case you miss or you fuck the circle up, you use a gambler's dodge to reset that again. And then it will also depend a little bit on the exotic you're gonna run, which will you help even more with that. So that's the stats. 100 mobility is the top priority, discipline as high as possible, and the rest just spread that evenly, because the build synergies will cover the rest. Same goes actually for recovery. That's why I mentioned Ember of Tempering. Next one is a little bit, let's talk a little bit about the mods. I make that briefly. So this one are only the combat style mods, because regarding weapon mods and stuff, so the first row basically goes into your stat allocation. The other stuff goes into your weapon allocation. So based on what weapons you use, what activity you run, what champion modifiers you need, that is highly dependent on, yeah, the weapons you run. So if you run the trace rifle, then obviously you use some trace rifle mods. But let's talk about the combat style mods first, okay? We use a double melee Wellmaker in combination with bountiful wells, because that gives you wells on demand. In case anyone asks, Dirty, why don't you use the explosive Wellmaker? Because as I said, I want to have the wells on demand. Because the explosive Wellmaker adds a little bit of RNG to that, okay? And I don't like that with the build. I want to have, when I have a melee kill, I want to know, and I want to be sure that I get the wells. And I get them right now. So that's why I run that. Then we have Fond of Might. Fond of Might is actually pretty interesting with that build, because this stacks with Radiant. So most of the time for your solar weapons, you will have the Radiant buff active and Fond of Might if you need it. The last combat style mod you have, or you can run with that build, or I would recommend, is either Well of Ordnance or Well of Life. That depends a little bit on your play style and with what you feel comfortable. I actually prefer Well of Ordnance. That gives you an additional 6% to your grenade energy compared to the regular wells. At least that's my understanding. Next up are weapons and exotic armor. So that's what we are still missing. And I won't give you a fixed one for that build, but I will give you a few options, okay? So here are the weapon options. So Prometheus Lens, that's for me, depending on the last sector, that's for me the top pick with that build in combination with the seasonal artifact mods. You never run out of ammo, basically. You also scorch targets with that one, which then leads again to ignitions with the throwing knife, and that's what we're looking for, another synergy. Same goes for Skyburner's Oath, which is kind of my backup, depending on, as I said, lost sectors, because Skyburner's Oath in combination with Radiant and Fond of Might does actually pretty good damage. It scorches things pretty fast, so 1 or 2 bullets on a big guy and he's scorched, and then you ignite him and basically clear the room. That is pretty nice. And thank you Jay, because Jay actually brought that to my attention because I hadn't that much time to play lately. So the Incandescent perk, which is an absolutely okay legendary alternative to those exotics. That is also very, very nice to run in case you don't want to use your exotic slot. So all of these 3 options I gave you here also run directly into the Scorch's target synergy. So another synergy right there. We're already looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 synergy arrows. And I think that's why people struggle so much with Solar 3.0, because it's all those little things that each synergy, let's say, on its own doesn't look super strong. Maybe interesting, but not super strong. But if you combine them all into a build where like everything comes together nicely, then that's where Solar really shines. Okay, the next, if you enjoyed it, by the way, please like the video and stop by next week when we will do my Solar 3.0 Titan, kind of the Red Hulk smash of Solar Titans. What is still missing is the exotic armors. And here I also have 3 recommendations, because the build the build on its own isn't dependent on your exotic, but the exotic can make it stronger. So what I want to run, my top pick this season, because I really enjoyed it, is actually Assassin's Cowl, brought to my attention again from Jaywalking Games himself, because that gives you invis with the knife kills. Yes, also on Solar. Also with executioners, and it also heals you, so that's pretty nice. If you have a nice circle going, you can basically stay invis all the time. Then I like also to run, or another pick is actually Wormusk Crown. That's more of an on-demand heal if the situation gets a little bit shitty. If shit hits the fan and I panic and I would miss the knife with Assassin's Cowl or not kill anything, then Wormusk Crown can also be pretty nice if you want to play it safe. And obviously for non-stop knives, that's another backup exotic here, okay? Ophidia Spathe with the extra throwing knife if you aren't that accurate with your knife. So if you use Ophidia Spathe in combination with Gambler's Dodge and that build, you should have 2 options of backup knives in your back pocket. Okay, I'd say this is the build, this is the cheat sheet. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please consider leaving a like, because that helps the channel grow and making my mom proud of me. And in case you want to see more builds like the one you've just seen, check out my Destiny 2 builds playlist on the top left of this video, or if you have more trust into the YouTube algorithm, knowing what you might like most, then check out the video to the left bottom. This is it so far from me. I hope you enjoyed your stay here at Mom's Basement. Have a good one, play dirty, and stop by next time for more hardcore casual dead gaming content coming to you from Mom's Basement. DirtyHotte out.